Hi, and welcome to Divine Destiny with Debbie. I'm reading for July 6th through the 12th. Now, this is the overview. We've got things happening. We do have a full moon in Capricorn. We are in Cancer season. I am posting this on YouTube, Rumble, and now on TikTok. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only, all right? Now, I have prayed, meditated, and infused all the decks with Reiki energy, but again, too, this is, these are general readings. They may or may not resonate, so take what you like and leave the rest, okay? I call myself kind of an intuitive channeler. I basically open and ask God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, to give whatever needs to be given. Okay, so let's go through the decks. Oh, well, I've got this up. So let's go through this then, okay? This is that website that I like a lot. And let me get to the website on my computer. So we have the-astrologer.net. I think he's in Europe, somewhere in Europe, maybe Eastern Europe too. So we know that we have some retrogrades that are happening. Now about 14 to 20 days, depending on how fast they are going, generally we can have the shadow of retrograde. So this is the shadow going forward, and then even after the retrograde goes direct again, you still have a shadow of that energy. So we talked about the 5th of July, Neptune was going retrograde in Aries. It does, I believe, dip back into Pisces maybe around September-ish. So, it's interesting what this is going to be. Now, think of a retrograde as going back over the last few months, okay? And it's kind of like when you're doing a play, when you're, performing a play, and you do your you do your rehearsals and your rehearsals and your rehearsals, but then you have to go back and you look to see what needs to be fixed, what needs to be changed. So, and then as it goes forward again, we go more into the live, the live presentation. But it doesn't matter, though, that everything is really live, because we are still living through these retrogrades. So Neptune, what is it, Poseidon, Greek and Roman and stuff like that. Very deep, dark, mysterious. Remember the oceans. We don't really even know, what did they say? There's only, it's only been, the research over the ocean is so minuscule compared to how big and how vast the ocean is. So there's so many mysterious things going on. It is in Aries, which is fire sign. Aries, Mars, potato. We now have Venus on the 6th, 1 degree. 1 degree is always a new beginning. In Gemini, so it is in Gemini, air energy. Venus is the goddess of love, the romantic. Now, usually has a very kind heart, but Venus can be very, very jealous at the same time. So we do always have to be very careful about Venus's energy. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Venus, this is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I'm not saying it isn't, but there is a sharpness to her energy. And also my Venus is in Gemini. It is sextiling, so there is a loose connection with Saturn. Again, 1 degree in Aries. And 1 degree, we talked that Saturn is rules, regulations, also very karmic type of energy, karmic resolutions, things like that. On the 6th, we also have Venus 2 degrees. So 2 has the high priestess energy, decisions energy, things, crossroad energy. And it is sextiling, again, a loose connection, but it's still a connection with Neptune in Aries. Now, Neptune is now retrograde. Though they do say, what happens around that 5th, around the 4th, 5th, 6th, while it's going retrograde, while it's kind of, changing things up, it's stationary. So it does have a strong influence on whatever is going on. Okay, now we're going into that Neptune. Now Saturn is about to go retrograde also. So we have to be, we have to just kind of watch that energy too. But then on the 7th, we have Venus 3 degrees, celebrate the Empress energy, celebration, creation, the power of 3, again in Gemini. So we have all of, Venus is in Gemini, but we have 1, 2, 3, kind of sounds like a count up type of thing, trining Trining is with Pluto, 3 degrees Aquarius, also air. This is going to be very interesting. Excuse me. This is going to be interesting because on the 7th, Uranus enters Gemini. And this is the first time, it says, in 84 years. The last time, I don't know, let's see. Yeah, that would be 1941. So we're in for some, I don't know, turbulence, some things that are going to, kind of like things that make you go, hmm. And it's also trining on that same day with Pluto. Pluto is very transformational energy. It can be very destructive energy. Uranus is the planet that says expect the unexpected. So we have it trining with Pluto, and Pluto also has the phoenix energy, to the ashes to the rebirth. So I would say that anywhere from, going forward from the 4th, going forward on, we're going to have some just times that we really can't even explain. Okay. So now, so that's why I tell you more what the planets kind of loosely. I don't say that I'm an astrologer. I do look at these planets and I look at where they were the last time, and it's like I said, things that make you go, huh? Okay. So on the 10th, we have that full moon in Capricorn, and that's an Earth energy. So then we have it squaring with Saturn and Neptune. Okay, remember Neptune is retrograde right now. Saturn is going to be going retrograde very, very soon. So it's probably, let's see, when is it? Yes, so Saturn goes retrograde on the 3rd. So it's probably going into its the static time, the stationary time right now. And this has just gotten out of that, so it's very the 10th. Squaring off. So full moon in Capricorn, and on my card, and I will show you the card, it says take a reality check for the full moon in Capricorn, and it's like looking at life. Full moons are very powerful, and also very, very mysterious. I do tell people I do not worship the moon. I worship God. So, I pray God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, but the moon always has been kind of a representation of when it's out there, looking up at it, and, just kind of gives me a reminder. But again, 3 to 5 days before, 3 to 5 days after the full moon, and, that would also be during the full moon period too, is a wonderful time to get out there to release, relinquish, and request. And squaring is basically the pressure is on each other. Okay, so Saturn in Aries is putting pressure on that full moon in Capricorn. Neptune in Aries is putting pressure on the full moon, and the fact that they're not really going, they're not really moving very quickly right at this time because they're stationary, really means that pressure is a lot. Okay, so it's also going to trine with Mars in Virgo. And Mars in Virgo has been very interesting to me because, it's very much a rule keeper. Okay, so I know that sounds like Saturn too, but Mars in Virgo, it's kind of like it's, Mars again, that Aries influence. Virgo is, and again, that Earth influence. It's trining, so it is partnering in some way with that. So it's just, I don't know, Mars in Virgo kind of gives me a feeling of being very alert, okay, kind of like be very watchful, because I'm not quite, not quite sure what this is going to be. Virgo, it likes to be, very spiritual, very, again, very rules, and Mars is that enforcer. So we'll see what we see. Full moon in Capricorn, again, opposing the sun in Cancer, because that's what it does. A full moon opposes the home sign. So we'll just, this is earth and water. Earth can be, can be a little bit dry, or it can be a little bit too moist. Water can be a little bit stingy, or it can be very excessive too. And then it's opposing Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune and of enlargement also. So again, when it's squaring, it's kind of putting the pressure on each other. When it's opposing, they're kind of doing a push-pull type of thing too. And even though it's not going to be here, we're not talking about this for this reading. The 13th, Saturn goes retrograde, and the 18th, Mercury goes retrograde. But the big deal too will be this July 7th, because we have July is 7th month, 7th day of the 7th month. And if you add up, the 25, that is also a 7. So let's see what we've got going on. Okay, let's go to this other one, see if we have any times for this. Horoscope.astro-seek.com. And if you ever want to, they will, you can go to home. No, you can go to home and you can put your birth sign, your birth date, and all that information in, and it will give you pretty much what happened when you were born. So we have Neptune going, okay, on the 4th. Well, we talked about all of that already. On the 7th, again, we have Uranus entering into Gemini at 7:46 a.m. And this is Universal Time, Greenwich Mean Time. Greenwich, not Greenwich. I know a few Greenwiches. Greenwich Mean Time, okay? So, wherever you are located. So then we have the full moon at 8:36 p.m. And then we go into that retrograde. So again, and I'm, like I said, I'm not a true astrologer. I just like to look at what is happening. And we have a lot of things happening. But I don't watch necessarily the videos of other people talking about this, but I will read some articles and I will go looking for things. And I got to go back to this. I'm sorry here because I have to flip this. Here, wait a minute. This. Now I can go back. And again, I like to see what happened in history. What happened in history. So the cards that we're going to be using, I'm going to kind of bring it down to just the one deck this time. I don't know if I'm going to pull 3 or 4 cards, but this one is Radley Valentine, my Angel Wisdom Tarot card. I do have my Archangel Michael, Sword of Light, again by Radley Valentine. We will pull from the Moonology Manifestation, Yasmin Boland, artwork by Lori Mena. And of course, I have my Emily Anderson crystal deck, which when I forget to pull a crystal card, I always get people saying, "Where's my crystal?" So we will pull this card too. So remember, I have prayed, meditated, I have infused with Reiki energy. I'm a Reiki practitioner. And again, entertainment purposes. Have fun with this, but learn a little bit maybe too. Okay, and I hope it means, I hope you get some meaning with this. So full moon in Capricorn says take a reality check. So we have take a reality check during a very turbulent time in history. Okay, because what we're going through now will be history, and it will be a notable history. So when I tried to start, I kind of went off on a bunny trail. So I don't watch other people's videos because I don't want to, I don't want to change what I am feeling, get that in the way. But I do, like I said, I do look things up on the internet, and there's a lot of people out there, the people that are posting things will say, we don't know how this is all going to happen or how this is all going to pan out. This is the first time that Uranus has been in Gemini with Pluto in Aquarius with Neptune in Aries. So it's the first time of many, I mean, granted, we could go back, but this is in our history, in my history, the United States history, this is the first time that all three are together right now. Okay, so Mercury going retrograde too. Again, we're not there, but we are in the shadow, along with that Saturn about to go retrograde. There is a lot of karmic energy that's about to be cleaned up. And I like to look at, when I talk about energy, there was a character on Charlie Brown Pigpen. And when I'm, and this is where I'm, kind of what this is all about. If you've watched the cartoons or read the cartoons, and Pigpen would always have what appeared to be a lot of dirt and dust floating around him. And I am sure that his parents did not send him out that way. It just that it seemed to be like a little vacuum, like, one of those little, I don't know if you ever did this when you were a kid, those little magnet with the stuff inside of it, and it just sucks it up. So that's pretty much what's going on. So we have this energetic cloud around us, and this is a time where there's going to be a lot of cleaning around it. So that's where, when I'm talking about karmic cleansing, it's like it's going to dissipate, or it might even be changed completely. So let's see what we have going on here. Higher power, Holy Spirit, what do you want to say to everyone out there? What do you want to say to everyone out there? We're going to be using these cards. 1, 2, and 3. Put these over here. Let's see. Okay, first card is okay. Reversed has a stronger meaning to me. That's how the cards speak to me. So we have the 3 of air, okay? Air is Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And I told you Aquarius and Gemini, there's big stuff happening this week with them. Pluto and Uranus in it. 3, though, is a comforting number. It is celebration. It is, the power of 3. So celebration, creativity, power of 3. So there is some comfort with this card. But the 3 of air, thought processes, thinking things through, making some plans, hearing some news, is about the injury, the hurt, the just the pain of life in itself. This is the one that I'm not really into I'm not into the Waite Rider or Pamela Coleman cards per se, but there is a lot of good artwork with that, Pamela Coleman. And this is the 3 of Swords, where the heart is a very red, healthy looking heart, but it has 3 swords in it. And in the background there is rain, and there is gray skies. But so it's one of those cards that people will be like, can we pull another one? It kind of scares me a little bit. Really what it's talking about is the healing of the suffering, healing of the wounds. The card says that you will carry the scars with you, but the actual pain is now over. So you can either you can continue to live with the pain, or you can let the pain go, okay? So with this, we are connected, because this is why I like these cards so much, we are connected with the Major Arcana 13, which is in this deck, I think they call this one Transformation. Some of the decks have Transformation for a lot of different ones, or, could be Renewal. But anyway, this one is connected to the Death card, okay? And this is with Archangel Azrael, who is also known as the Archangel of Death. Now, this does not mean that people are going to die. It does not mean that at all. What happens is when you see this card per se, the Azrael, is that there will be a transformation. There's going to be the end of a lot of different things. It could be very difficult times, and the beginning of something new. But this card basically tells us that it's time to let go of the past and move on to a newer future. Great sadness that will heal with time. Let go of the past. Personal growth that comes from challenges. Healing misunderstandings. Being there for those in need. So it's, it's an interesting time. I'm very much into talking about forgiveness. I'm not saying that you have to forget. In fact, I recommend that you don't forget, because when you forget, you usually wind up repeating the lesson. But forgiving is what heals you, and what can help you actually separate from the source of the pain. Okay? So in the world in itself, it is a time where healing could begin. Okay, next card is, we now have the Page of Air. So this is the court cards. And the page begins the court card. So, there's the page, the knight, the queen, the king. All of the court cards have dual energies. So underneath the page is our Earth energy, Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, Capricorn, full moon going on. Money, job, career, also something to do about your home. It's, very tangible energy. But then the overlying energy that we have is that air again. That, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. So we have the Capricorn full moon. We have Uranus and Pluto doing some stuff at the same time. So it's interesting. What can I tell you about it? But thought process. So the page is generally, it could also be a messenger. The page is usually very enthusiastic and wants to start on new projects. So, and a lot of times the page will represent that work energy per se. Okay, but so this page of air, it's like there are some new projects, but you have to think about it. You have to kind of, get yourself ready, get yourself in that really good mindset as it goes forward. Now we do have these butterflies around, so that in itself is a good sign too. So the page, yes, it is something to happen, but the page of air, page of swords, is also telling there will be challenges ahead. So we have challenges coming. So it's not just that, not that it's going to be a simple something ends, something begins, and everybody's, it's all great. There will be challenges ahead, okay? But the good news is you can, the world will overcome them. So logical, perceptive, insightful, blunt, an exciting intellectual challenge, brilliant insights, information that you need but might be challenging to receive. Review all documents very, very carefully. So let's see what else we might have here. Well, this is a lovely card. This is a 2 of fire. So now we have a 2, which is choices, decisions, crossroads. We also have it with partnership. Fire is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So, Aries is the big player right now. What is it? I think Mercury is in Leo right now, so there could be some interesting information coming. Mercury, we are in the shadow retrograde of Mercury, so there could be some old information that has been renewed or updated, kind of like a next edition type of thing with this. But this is a partnership, ready to go on your way, ready to make some changes, ready to take the world, kind of like owning the world. And there's a lot of positive optimism with this card in itself. Taking the next steps, bold and ambitious choices, partnering with others who share your dreams, expanding your plans, continue to move forward. It's with Zedkiel. I believe he is the archangel with violet light. 14, the temperance card, moderation. It's like don't go to the extremes, but do not back down either. Sometimes this has to have some compromise with it. So you may not like necessarily the compromise, but the other person may not like what they're compromising on either. So there is a lot of optimism with this card. So something has to the world is letting go of a past era. The world is letting go of past, just the past in general. And there is a new future coming, but it's not necessarily going to be an easy transition. It will, there are challenges here, but there's also a lot of optimism as the world keeps turning. Okay, so let's go on here. And again, we go back to the take a reality check. And it's interesting we didn't get the wheel, which is all about, the world turning. So let's see. One other card. Michael, what else do you want to say? Michael, what do you want to say? What's going on in the world? Now, take a reality check. This is about be the real you. So, for whoever needs to hear this, your greatest power comes from being who you truly are. Don't let anyone sway you from expressing your authentic self. I like this. This is an interesting card for this time. So it is not a card, it is not about masks. It's about doing what you need to do, being who you are, keeping your vibrations very elevated during this time. Remember, we are in a lot of transformational times, ascension times. You know, we've all heard this. You know, starseed times, indigo child times. Things are shifting in a way that we're not even sure how they're shifting or what's going on. There's a lot of Mandela effects going on, or the butterfly effects, or however you want to name that. So again, you know, the old Chinese blessing curse, may you live in interesting times. We definitely do that. Okay, so please remember again. Okay, so I will be getting out the other videos hopefully today. Also remember that I'm on Rumble, YouTube, and TikTok. Sometimes TikTok amazes me, and then other times it's like, oh, nobody's watching, but that's okay because some people are watching, and I appreciate you guys all. Anyway, do all the clickety clacks, whether it's over here or over there or down here, and always remember, because this is really the truth. Know that you are loved. Stay shining and be blessed. Thank you. Bye-bye.